You are listening to Beyond the Verse, a StarCitizen podcast. A show dedicated to Cloud Imperium games, StarCitizen, and Squadron 42. Whether you fight, explore, unite, and/or trade, we bring you news, updates, interviews, reviews, and analysis. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a pour of Radagast, and join us as we go Beyond the Verse.
Launch sequence activated.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, StarCitizen podcast. I'm your host, Solus, and this is episode 121. We're going to dive into the launch of the RSI Apollo, covering the official release, the Q&A insights, and we're going to watch the Behind the Ships featurette together and respond to that and react to that. We also break down yesterday's release of 431, the patch that's called Virtue's Descent. It's the patch release. We're going to share details on the Apollo Triage giveaway. That's brand new, guys. You haven't seen that on socials. You're hearing it here first, but we will be giving away a $250 package of the Apollo Triage giveaway. The details will be in this podcast and nowhere else. All right. And then we're going to recap the latest Pirate Week 2955 event and the flag contest that's happening in the community. And we will be announcing the giveaway winner for that. We're giving away the Avenger Titan. That comes with the Skull Crusher paint. So we'll be giving that away here in the next couple of seconds. So excited about that. Plus, reactions to the September 10th roadmap update, highlights from the Comm's Dive number 3, the CitizenCon 2955 digital goodies pack, and the latest from the General This Week in StarCitizen report. We have a lot to do, guys. We have a lot to do. And I'm excited. It's been 2 weeks. I missed last week, and I'm sure y'all missed having an episode come out on Thursday or Friday of last week, but yours truly was gone in Seattle, Washington, handling work, and it was a Monday through Friday trip, which usually it's a Monday through Thursday, and that gives me still time to record on a Friday morning. But last week was not so forgiving, so didn't get into the game at all last week. A lot actually happened in the game last week. We had Pirate Week launch and some gold nuggets that we're gonna kind of skim through quickly because it's old news at this point. And then this week, where I had every intention to get back into the game, my poor wife had a huge sickness, like throat and fever and everything else. So I had to like double my duty around the house and helping out with the kids, being a good husband. So I haven't really been able to get into the game. Guys, I even missed last night's org night, and that kills me. It killed like on a patch release night. I had to miss it, but I missed it for a good reason. My daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, mind you, participated in this like dance event. I don't know, like they go to the high school and the high school dance team like teaches her how to do some moves, and it's really cute. It's really precious. But they kind of had this culmination event at a high school football game the following week where they get to stand on the field and shake the pom-poms and everything else. Like all you fathers out there are probably getting warm hearts right now, but that was last night. So I was okay missing org night if it meant being out there at the football stadium with my daughter. So I have not been able to get into the game, which is not exactly true. I was able to jump in for like 30 minutes before we left to the high school. I was able to call up the Apollo medevac. I was able to go through it. So I do actually have some reactions to being in the ship myself. But as far as getting into the additional content from the Onyx facilities, that was org night. That's what over 20 individuals from Soul Provision got to experience. I have not been able to experience yet, which sucks, but I will make up for it over the weekend and I'll be getting after it. So, all right. I don't know. I kind of want to go straight into the giveaway. I kind of want to do that. Let's throw a wrench into the plans here. I'm going to go ahead and get into, I need to hide some of these columns before I share my screen. So let's get rid of the email. Let's get rid of social. Don't want that. I think everything else is good. Yeah, so let me hide those. Okay, let me share my screen for those of you on YouTube. So here's the deal. Whenever CIG partners with me and we agree on a giveaway. So for this Pirate Week community giveaway, it was the Avenger Titan with the Skull Crusher paint. Usually when I partner with them, I put the information on the website. That's beyondtheversehq.com. You're able to go to it. You enter in this information. So like your RSI username, RSI email address, and then there's like an engagement question because I want to hear from you. And there's few opportunities that I get to actually hear from the listeners and the viewers. So there's this kind of fun engagement question. For the Apollo Triage giveaway later in this episode, you're going to want to pay attention because I'm going to give you a code. And that code is going to go into the engagement question, and you're going to get filtered out if you don't have the correct code. So for this one, this is about 5 days worth of running. Again, being out in Seattle, I wasn't able to create it like on time. So this is only 5 days, but had around 80 entries. So you're seeing how the soup is made here, guys. This is old news if you're a returning listener or viewer. So let's go to column alpha. Let's create a random number real quick. And we'll carry this down across all 80 entries. We're going to Control C, Control V to make that a static number that doesn't change when we start sorting. We're going to start to sort. Here we go. Or we're going to filter, and then we're going to go from high to low, largest. All right, J-Funk. J-Funk is our winner. Let's go ahead and highlight this guy. And what's fun is the engagement question was, so first off, by the way, congratulations. Congratulations, J-Funk. You are the winner of the Avenger Titan with lifetime insurance with the Pirate Week Skull Crusher paint that comes with it. So congratulations, J-Funk. All right. The engagement question was like, if you had one like pirate rule, right? If you had one law to live by, what would it be? Right. And so you have all these entries, and J-Funk responded with always be on the hunt for booty. Don't know if that's treasure or something else, but always be on the hunt for booty. So again, J-Funk, congratulations for winning. You will have you'll have it in your mailbox in about, I don't know, hour and a half after I'm done post-production with the podcast. Cool story. Let's get into this week in Star Citizen. We'll discuss a couple low-hanging fruits and then get into Pirate Week, which kind of ties into the giveaway. I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, here we go. This week in Star Citizen, ahoy scallywags and starfarers alike. Pirate Week is in full spring. Or swing, if I could read. Pirate Week is in full swing, and fortunes are being made and stolen in every corner of the verse. For all you creative corsairs, the ongoing flag design contest is your chance to compose the colors of your crew, conjure up chromatic combinations no captain has conceived, and claim a coveted craft. Submissions close on Monday, September 22nd, which is in 3 days, guys. So you have like the weekend if this is your first time hearing it. All right, over in the PTU, Alpha 431 has made its arrival. Pause, like obviously it's in the live PU now as of yesterday, but I'm just covering the things that have, okay. Moving on. Offering a look at the fixes, updates, and treasure waiting just beyond the horizon. If testing goes smoothly, this update is set to launch on the live servers later this week. All right. And if your course takes you planet side to Italy this weekend, the StarCitizen World Tour makes port this Saturday in Rome, where tall tales and camaraderies flow as freely as the grog. So ready your ship, rally your mates, and join us as we chart this week's course through the verse. All right, let's see what's going on this week. I'm just going to go down to the bullet points. It looked as though it was a very light week, but as you know, there's a lot to cover. So Monday, this week in Star Citizen, that was it. Nothing Tuesday. Wednesday, behind the ships, the RSI Apollo, which gave me reason to think that the patch was going to either release Wednesday after that, the behind the ships RSI Apollo, or it was going to release on Thursday. So I was definitely right with that prediction. Very easy prediction to make. All right, later today on Friday, it's the RSI Weekly Newsletter that's going to hit your mailbox. And then on Saturday, like we just discussed, it's the StarCitizen World Tour, Rome, Italy. From the Beyond the Verse perspective this past week, we've made severe kind of has a negative connotation. We've made very good strides towards finalizing the agenda for CitizenCon Direct in Austin, Texas. So again, if it's just your first time listening, you might know, you might not know that me and Paul from the Astro Pub are going to host the Austin CitizenCon Direct that's hosting CIG. So yours truly will be facilitating alongside a very good friend of the podcasts, Paul from the Astro Pub. So we talked on last Sunday. So we have okay, let me back up. We have a Soul Provision org leadership sync that happens on Sunday nights. Well, now until after this event, I have another meeting right after that with Paul where we discuss the agenda and things that we want to consider, giveaways, discussion points, which there's not really anything to discuss right now because we don't know crap about what's happening at CitizenCon Direct, other than it's nothing about Squadron 42. So that has been confirmed by a lot of individuals in CIG. So nothing Squadron 42 related. So what in the world are we going to be watching for 2 hours? We can suspect maybe base building. We could suspect engineering and maybe some of these game loops that have still not come to fruition. Maybe Nyx as a new planet system. So we can surmise, and I'll probably have Space Tomato on between now and then because we love kind of having that conversation back and forth. So we'll see. So some progress there. Soul Provision continues to grow. This is not a podcast to promote and recruit. It just organically happens that way because if you listen to me and you like what I'm saying, a lot of you tend to come over to Soul Provision. So we're growing with a medical game loop that hit. We're looking to grow and expand into the medical gameplay. So we're looking for officers. We're looking for ways to engage our community with a medical flair. So more to come. Let's get into the low-hanging fruit news. So first and foremost, probably the lowest hanging fruit. We had the Race for Stanton event. This is the cargo runs. This is the animosity that has come from 4.2.0. 4.2.0, 4.2.1, I forgot which patch at this point. But in 4.2, we competed for who was going to win the Race for Stanton. And Hurston Dynamics has come on top. So it's official. HD has emerged victorious in the Race for Stanton, securing their dominance in the region crisis. Thanks to everyone who rallied to help Stanton's Big Four tackle the region crisis following Imperator Addison's call for scientific resources. Thousands of citizens have been hauling, mining, defending, and recovering lost cargo to support the cause, all while earning a wealth of rewards and immense frustration. But it's over. It's done. So as of September 16th, 3 days ago, a staggering 337 million SCU have been hauled in support of the mega corporation HD, crowning it the clear victor, trailing behind Microtech at 249 million, and then Crusader at 205 million, and then poor R-Corp coming up the rear with 194 million, roughly. All right, so for all of you who did all tier 5 of Hurston Dynamics, here is your rewards. So in Alpha 431, live now, players who have reached tier 5 with Hurston Dynamics in their quest to assist the mega corporation will receive the exclusive Strata Hurston Black Armor with HD's logo. So I know it's a beautiful, black and gold is another good color combination to me. So it's a great color combination, but if that was, I don't know if that's worth the heartache of what this patch gave us. So I don't know about that. All right. In a future update 4.3.2, so we have a .2 coming for 4.3. Hurston Dynamics will also take over ownership of the Pyro Gateway space station in the Stanton system, with decorations and ownership visually represented on and in the jump point station. Additionally, all players will also receive a permanent 5% discount on all products, ships, right, and items sold in Lorville Landing Zone, Low Orbit Space Station, Everest Harbor, and also its newly acquired jump point station. Guys, that's huge. It includes ships. So if you're going to buy ships, I'm pretty sure I don't know if that's also on rental costs, but if you're going to purchase a ship at least, do so in Lorville. If it's available in Lorville, do it in Lorville because you're going to get a 5% discount literally on all products, which is kind of neat to me because I need a reason to go to other stations, right? I will forever, up until a newer system or something better comes out, I will always choose Orison, like Crusader Orison. That's kind of my shtick. City in the Clouds, definitely a Star Wars type, feel to it. But I need a reason to go to other systems, especially Hurston. I have very little reason to ever go in that direction. It's not pretty. It's not for me. Like it's not a location that I would frequent. I would say after Orison and the Crusader system, it'd probably be Microtech, because that again is just gorgeous and it's a beautiful system. And then R-Corp and then Hurston. So this gives me a reason to do my shopping in Hurston. It's not a bad idea. And it's also central. I'm actually okay with this. It's the most central system. So it's kind of equidistant, or at least it's not as taxing as if maybe Microtech won and it's way off in the corner of the system. So I'm good with this. Everybody has access to the discounts. I think that's really neat. So really awesome news there. Let's continue moving because there is so much more to get through. CitizenCon Direct also released their $29.55 digital goodies pack. So here we go. I guess I'm curious to the listeners and viewers, if you had the chance to kind of look at this, is it better than previous years? Are we happy with the amount of items? What I will say is I'm kind of spoiling what I'm about to talk about, but there's not a lot of details. It gives us like subject matter. It gives us like a high level. This is kind of what we're thinking, but it doesn't give us exactly what they're going to be giving us. So here we go. Right. It's $35. Let me just read the paragraph, but yeah, it's $35. Is this worth $35 to you? All right, here we go. CitizenCon Direct is almost here. A special 2-hour digital showcase packed with major reveals, exciting surprises, deep dives, and more. Streaming live at, I think this is 2 p.m. U.S. Central on Saturday, October 11th. No matter where you are, you can join the fun. Key members of the CIG team will be at bar citizen watch parties across North America and Europe. Check the locations here. There's like a link for you to click on. Can't attend the watch party? No worries. You can still join the fun. The digital goodies pack is back, filled with exclusive content to get you into the CitizenCon spirit. Lock in the collection ahead of the broadcast and get ready to showcase 13 all-new in-game wearables, weapons, decor, and collectibles. Includes 2 new complete armor sets, an exclusive flight suit, a bundle of new weapons, and more. All alongside the classics like our CitizenCon challenge coin and trophy to add to your collection. All right, here we go. Let's just click on this more info and scroll through this. All right, new armor set number 1, new armor set number 2, new undersuit, new flight suit with helmet, new jacket. So you can kind of see the images in the background here, where they're kind of hinting at what we'll be getting. Of course, there are leaks and there's data mining that is happening where some of the community already knows what these are and what they look like. So it's out there if you're interested to go search it. It doesn't take a lot to find it, but they've blackened out the items that's like not released. And then they gave us like, what is released. So here's your flight suit. So you can see the flight suit and that's like it. So we don't know what the jacket looks like. New FPS weapons. Again, I don't see any weapons in this picture. So it's going to be a new FPS weapon, number 1, number 2, number 3. So 3 weapons. There's your challenge coin, your trophy, new decor, number 1, and number 2. Who knows? So we don't have a lot of information. Do you buy it or do you not buy it? Of course I bought it. Like I know that I'm going to like whatever comes out. I don't see any potted plants, or maybe that's what they mean by new decor. It might be a potted plant, and that's going to be a little bit of a waste. But as far as everything else goes, I'm going to like whatever it comes out with. So I bought it at $35. Did you? Is it worth it to you? I'm super curious your thoughts on CitizenCon Direct. And if you're able to go physically to a CitizenCon Direct, you can expect there's going to be some goodies there, both physical and virtual. So stop by the Austin CitizenCon Direct. Please, it'll be fun. We already have like around 200 people sign up, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna get into Pirate Week. Again, this is old news for a lot of you, so I don't necessarily want to belabor this too much. Most of you have already gotten into Pirate Week and have dabbled in like the affairs. So If this is your first time listening to Beyond the Verse, or maybe Star Citizen in general, and you're like, hey, what the heck is Pirate Week, Solus? Not a problem. I got you. All right, here we go. where the yearning for excitement and the lure for liberty that called ye out to that vast starry horizon. Conjure it now and gather your crew, because Pirate Week is here. Some may call us thieves or ruffians, but we're nothing but old romantics in love with adventure and treasure. It's our deviant duty to keep the UEE on its toes, and all we ask in return is but a few wee trinkets, and everything they've got in their cargo holds, of course. Be you a solo Stanton sailor or a pyro privateer posse, make way for the wondrous, plunderous Pirate Week. Guys, it's a way to celebrate the darker side of Star Citizen. Not like Alien Week dark side, but this is like the celebration of a niche, right? Of a niche inside of Star Citizen. So there's aesthetics, cosmetics, there's in-game events, outside of game events. Like I said, we're going to go through this pretty quickly, but here are your new paints for the year, right? So the Skull Crusher paint is back to intimidate your foes throughout the black. Brandish it on the Asgards, Corsairs, Avengers, and Ursas. Boom, right? To remind passerbys of the ne'er-do-wells aboard and that they venture close at their own risk, all previous Pirate Week paints are also available for those ships. So you get the 4 new ones. They all look freaking amazing. Like this Asgard Pirate Week, like paint looks sick. Like I think they did an amazing job. Amazing job. And if you are a YouTube hauler subscriber to the channel, we gave 2 giveaways. So we said, hey, if you're one of the 2 people that were selected, you have a choice of one of these pirate paints. And so I gave away a Corsair, which is a previous paint, obviously. I gave away a Corsair Skull Crusher, and I gave away a Vulture Skull Crusher. So I'll get into like the different packs here in a second, but I think they did an amazing job. Well, the Corsair's right here. I'm sorry, guys. Corsair wasn't an older one. It's one of the newer ones. Okay. There was also a treasure hunt. So this is really cool. I hope CIG does more of this in the future, right? I hope they go deeper into external puzzles that you have to solve in the game and vice versa. Things that you might discover in the game that involves you to submit externally at like a website or something. I think that is an incredible way. I've said this before many times in the podcast. I think World of Warcraft did this very well with their WoW Armory app that you can put on your phone, and you can like see your character, your stats in the character. Like I think games need to do that more, and I think games need to do that better, right? Of like really driving engagement both in and out of the game. Because like let's face it, like video gaming in 2025 is pure community. So tap into that, right? Engage with the community. This is a phenomenal way to do so. And this is not the first time they've done it. They've done it previous years as well. But they give you little hints, right? Outside of the game here, like what you're looking at. And then there's there's a Spectrum channel as well that'll give new hints. There's also Twitter posts that'll give new hints. And then once you have the string of answers, you submit that here in this Pirates code, and you get whatever treasure or whatever item there is. And so I actually have done it. I have the code. I will not be giving it to you because that's a leak, and I don't do that on the podcast. But just know it's available. It's as easy as a Reddit post. Ruben Saurus on his social medias. A lot of people follow him because he's really good at keeping the news, up to date, or keep us up to date on the news. He just flat out posted it on a tweet. So go check out Ruben Saurus's Twitter handle, and you will find the code. But anyways, we'll get into what that is here in a second. So we have that event, and then we have a contest. Well, get into the arena commander in a second, but we have a contest outside of the game where you design your own pirate flag. And we'll get into the details here in a couple of seconds for that as well. But most events in Star Citizen have an external event, right? And then, I guess last but not least, you also have the Arena Commander. This is nothing new, but if you do the Pirate Swarm and earn the badge of completing Pirate Swarm, you have the ability. It unlocks the ability for you to purchase the Aegis Gladius and the Drake Caterpillar with the exclusive limited pirate editions. So I have both. Like the Gladius, it's more red. It's like brighter red than I would personally like. But it comes with like a special kit as well. So like it's the Gladius that I own. But that Drake Caterpillar is sick. I think they nailed that Drake Caterpillar. So it's mainly black with like red highlights, but the skull and crossbones around the caterpillar have like little tick marks for like I guess the kills or the bounty that you have looted. No, it doesn't update while you play. It's just it's the paint. It just looks cool. But I love what they did with the caterpillar. All right. And then here's obviously the new paints again, the limited time packs. So if you wanted like all paints, right? If you wanted all paints, actually, I don't want to get ahead of myself. If you want literally every Skull Crusher paint and Meridian paint, it's $96. I'm sorry. I saw the first one and got completely sidetracked. But yes, that's $96. But let's go back to the limited time packs. So if you want the starter pack of the Avenger, Titan, and Skull Crusher paint, this is essentially what we just gave away at the top of the podcast. This is going to be $60, right? So you get the cool paint job as well. This is a great entry point. So if you're listening to this podcast and you don't have a StarCitizen account or you don't have a starter pack, like this is a solid option, but it's not as solid as this next one. So this is the Cutlass Black. It's the Cutlass Black with the Pirate Week paint as well. This is originally $125. It's on sale for $100. Guys, this is your starter pack. I will continue to recommend that the Cutlass Black, everybody should have a Cutlass Black. It's a good everydayer, but this paint scheme is phenomenal. So do this. You also have some big boy, big girl packs. So if you have $400 and you just want to go crazy, it has, and you've earned your Pirate Aggressor badge, you can purchase this, and it has both the Aegis Gladius and the Drake Caterpillar. And so if I hit new, does it have lifetime insurance? No. The only issue, guys, that this has, if you want 24-month insurance or if you want lifetime insurance, you're not going to get it. So you're going to spend $400 on 2 ships and only get 6-month insurance out of it. Guys, there's no other way. There's no other way to get these ships with lifetime insurance. Can't do it. So the best you can hope for is a 6-month insurance on these. Kind of sucks. But look at that paint job. I'm just gonna hang out here for a couple seconds. That Caterpillar paint job is freaking sick. And then here's the Gladius. I don't know, you see what I mean? Like it's very red. It's almost too red. Like give me more like black with red highlights. All right, I digress. Let's move on. Here's all the paint schemes, guys. If you want just like the Skull Crusher paints, that's $49. Again, if you want Skull Crusher plus Meridian, that's $96. And then each individual paint is going to be its own cost. But the smaller the ship, the smaller the price. From $5 up to like, I think 13 is the most. Yeah, 13. So 13, which is the Asgard. So phenomenal paint jobs. Here's your classic pirate paints with Meridian. The Cutlass Black has its own paint as well. You can also get this featured gear, the Pirate Week Treasure Pack. I actually bought this as well. I think it's a great, like if you want to get those skull containers, I think that's a really great, thing to add in your hangar. And then it comes with some gear as well, as you can see on the screen. And then the salvaged skull parlor set from the subscriber store, those are back in. You can purchase those as well. So we actually spent more time on Pirate Week than maybe I intended to or I wanted to. Make sure you get in. Make sure you, at the very least, make sure you input that code so you can get your items. And let me just show you real quick what those items look like. Where are we at? Pirate Week treasure pack, 15 items. Here we go. All right. So gear, Pirate Week treasure pack, 15 items. You got, well, I'm not going to go through all this. Just look at my screen. So you've got an 8 SU container, a 4 SU container, a 2 SU container, a 1 SU container, and then you've got sniper rifles. You've got the RRS Arden Archangel or Archangel helmet in set as well. And you've got the Kana 2 sniper rifle and its Kana 2 armor set. So very awesome. Love everything about this. That is the Pirate Week treasure pack. That's not that's not the treasure. Where is the freaking Salvage Skull container set? Guys, I am so sorry. This is it. So the Pirate Week 2025 Salvage Skull container set. This is what you get whenever you enter your code. Goodness. Yeah, you get the 8 containers or the 4 containers. Wow. All right, let me see if there's anything else. Pirate Week, paint, gear, CitizenCon Direct, Pirate Week community giveaway. That's what we just gave away. That's it, guys. Okay, that was a fun little detour. All right, so let's get out of my hangar. CitizenCon Direct, we already talked about. Hurston, we already talked about. Pirate Week. Yeah, I guess I can show you real quick. There's also Spectrum posts. So if you want to know more about Pirate Week, every time there's an event, there's also a Spectrum note that comes out. It kind of consolidates all the information, whatever. This is important because it kind of gives you the layout. So if you're not watching on video, I'm showing you one of the Spectrum posts that shows like the format of the code, right? So I don't know. It kind of helps, right? It kind of helps like format, like tell you how many characters your answer should be. So I thought that was interesting, very important. Here is your pirate flag design contest. So beyond the rules and everything, if you're interested in participating, I always like going to the rewards. So in first place, you're going to get the Drake Corsair, the digital craft category. Sorry. First place, the Drake Corsair with Skull Crusher. Second place, the Aegis Avenger Warlock with Skull Crusher livery. Third place, you got the RSI Ursa with the Skull Crusher paint. And then if you do a real life craft, your first place is the Anvil Asgard with lifetime insurance and the Skull Crusher paint. Second place is the Aegis Avenger Warlock with Skull Crusher paint. And then in third place, the RSI Ursa with Skull Crusher paint. So there you go. Pirate Week. Let's move on. All right, we're still not in 4.3 yet. We're still not in the Apollo yet. Let's get through one more low-hanging fruit. We had a StarCitizen Comms dive number 3. Guys, these are huge. This is just yet another place for us to find information on what's coming out in StarCitizen. So it's not roadmap update. It's not, this week in StarCitizen. It's not any one of these Thursday like video releases. It's just another avenue to share what's happening in and around the developers, verse, if you will. So it kind of sneaks by. So if you're not part of like socials, or if you're not part of like just actively monitoring Spectrum, you would have missed this. Know that there was 2 more. So there was obviously a StarCitizen Comms dive number 1, number 2. You can click on those to find out. Excuse me. But here's what here's what is discussed in this week's. So will the VoIP system support environmental audio effects? Yes, there's going to be a 3D VoIP system. Great. What are the plans for the operational costs of vehicles? Why does the Polaris often open fire upon allied ships? Which is obviously a known issue. Can bunker missions be adjusted to stop automatically revealing all objective markers, allowing players to search manually? Yes, whenever there's scanning introduced into the game. What is the current status of ship modules and modular ship development? Right, information there as well. What improvements are planned for the inventory UI to improve ergonomics and clarity? So this kind of summarizes. It sort of summarizes the news that was dropped a couple of weeks ago in like a Thursday video on inventory updates. So it's coming. Can't wait for it to come. It's going to be, a lot better to sort and kind of manage your inventory. Are there plans for personalized hangars that expand to include separate rooms for trophies and living spaces? I'm going to go ahead and read this because this is important to me. Quote, "We do plan to give you the ability to customize your space. The intention is to introduce modular options that unlock new functionalities within the hangar. For example, spaces could be outfitted with dedicated interchangeable submodules, such as additional freight elevators, empty rooms for you to decorate as you please, and even medical facilities. We will talk more about hangar customization when the time is right." CitizenCon Direct. I think that is a great conversation for CitizenCon Direct. It kind of ties into base building and customizing your experience in the verse. Can't wait. All right. Are there any improvements to come to ship lights? What is the current status and plan for implementing ship's armor systems? Are improvements planned for ASUP terminals, filters, allowing sorting by ship, ledge status, role, or size? What steps are being taken to improve in-game chat moderation, filtering, and customization options? Guys, if I said a question that interests you, go over to Spectrum. It's in their general tab, and it's one of the latest articles. So give that a read. Good information. Let's finally get in to yesterday's release of 4.3.1. Here we go. All right. Always try to find reasons to do that soundbite. Like, I love the Brahms drop. It's called a Brahms drop. Okay, here we go. Virtue's Descent. We're going to watch a video real quick. Hopefully it's the right audio. I didn't even think to adjust my audio. So, well, whoops. But it's going to talk about what you can expect in 4.3.1. Like beyond the medical, beyond the Apollo triage and medevac, beyond the new med gels. Like we have more of the Onyx facility to explore. So here we go. For those of you on video, stay tuned. If you're just on audio, I haven't seen this before. Like again, this dropped yesterday and I wasn't able to get into it. So we're going to experience this together for the first time. Here we go.
Hey, it's me. I'm grounded on Pyro 4. Any chance you're nearby?
Location received. On my way. Just another day in paradise. Stay down. Let me look. Wow. This can't be. What have they done?
Guys, I can't get over the storytelling in this game. Like I can't wait, damn it. Next year is Squadron 42. Let's go. Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, so for a patch release, for a wing of Onyx facilities, opening up, that was a phenomenal teaser video. So it does open up with the Apollo Triage or medevac. It does open up there, and you're flying around, and it's what you're going to normally use it for. And then I think what most people, until the medical game loop fully gets fleshed out, they're going to be using the medevac or triage for like a bunker buster. They're going to be using it for quick little insertions. It has a medical bed. Obviously it has beds that you can log out of. So I feel like this would be a very good, like, everydayer. Like, don't go into combat. Like, you might be able to, but don't go into combat with like a triage. It's probably not going to end well for you, but I can see this being like an everyday ship. And so the video started out with the new Apollo, but then making their way to the Onyx facility, like, incredible storytelling. So we saw a new species, right? We saw like a fish kind of floating in one of the cryo tanks. But then, I mean, I'm sort of right. If you remember several weeks ago, I said that I feel like the Onyx facility is a way to introduce aliens. There you go. I mean, I was proven right. We see our first Vandal inside of the game, and the Vandal is strung up, right? Obviously being worked on with some matter, some science drop discovery, happening right above that Vandal that was clearly, dead and being worked on. So it's not a live version of the alien, but it's our first time seeing like an extraterrestrial being, like even beyond Wicklow, because up to this point, Wicklow was just a virtual head that was kind of moving around on your screen. So I wouldn't even consider the Banu Wicklow as like fully released. This is like an actual alien, like in game right in front of you. So I can't wait to get into it. I want to actually get eyes on screenshots. I want to do it all. But that's so exciting. So exciting. So here we go. Deeper and darker. What you've uncovered in the Onyx was enough. Cancel. Sorry. My Siri on my phone just turned on. Last thing I want there. So deeper and darker. What you uncovered in Onyx was enough to make even the hardest mercs run for their lives. Did Dr. Jorts set out with good intentions? Who cares when we're left with the warped reality of his twisted experiments that he created? Despite the dangers, you made it out of that damned abyss alive, but the worst is still waiting. The job's not done. It's time to go back in. Uncovered secrets, what we've seen, right? Tortured creatures abandoned in the underground prison, ASD workers and scavengers being eaten alive, with the biggest threat of all, an unstable power core ready to blow and take the evidence of Jort's sick experiments with it. Back into the darkness, time to return. You've made it through hell, but it doesn't stop there. Site Bravo is open and more biological samples must be retrieved so we can comprehend what madness was concealed in this pit of depravity. It's your duty to uncover Jort's deepest hidden secrets and put an end to the stain on humanity. All right. I believe this goes to the Spectrum. No, this actually goes to the Play StarCitizen, so we don't need to worry about this link. So here's your RSI Apollo update. This is the medical gameplay update, which we've kind of already covered, but it's the next iteration of medical gameplay. So I'm actually going to open that in a new tab for here in a second. We're going to go through the RSI Apollo, obviously, here in a second as well. Here is your patch bundle, which I have already gotten. It's a beautiful blue and gold paint for, it looks like the Cutlass. Yeah, the Cutlass. Plus a great armor set, plus a great weapon system for $25. So I went ahead and got it. So I don't know. I recommend getting it as well. I love these patch bundles. They're really good to give away, to friends as well. So I will more than likely be giving another one of these away to YouTube hauler subscribers. So stay tuned for that. And here we go. Apollo Medevac is available. Obviously, $290. That's not War Bond. That's just straight up $290. The Apollo Triage, $260. The C8R Pisces, right, $65. The Cutlass Red, $135. The Terrapin Medic, $220. And the Ursa Medevac at $60. So those are all your medical ships that are out with 431. Let's just keep going. Design brief. This is the medical gameplay that I was talking about. So this basically talks about the updates to the injuries. So tier 1 being the most severe injury, tier 3 being the minor injury, and where and how you can take care of yourself. So that's all changed, guys. So you can go in here and click on this, right? And kind of learn more about a tier 1 severe injury, but really high level, it's the same kind of information up to this point. So on-site treatments, again, not really anything different. It just goes into detail explaining what's what. So here's your medical pins. That's like self-triage, maybe using it on another person as well. Your multi-tool is a method as well. And then, of course, the Cure Life medical tool, which is your org or your small party healer. All right, here we go. It goes into each one of the med pins, right? The different type of pins, right? It goes into all of that. Talks about rescue beacons, the changes to medical beds. So here's where you might want to start checking this out. So your tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 medical beds, they now cost med gels, right? And I will say this quickly. The cool thing about the Apollo series is you can outfit your Apollo how you want to. So I have my Apollo medevac right now with the left side of the ship being a tier 1 facility, which is just one bed of tier 1. And then the right side of my ship I have as a tier 3. So 3 beds of a tier 3 status. So I've got 4 beds total in, but if I wanted to throw in a tier 2, that's fine. But again, if you throw in like 2 tier 1s, right? Like a tier 1 left and a tier 1 right, those are only 2 beds, and it's going to cost a lot of med gels to run. So you got to be very strategic. So I have one that's like for severe issues, and I've got 3 for, less severe. So it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg when I want to heal. Here is the breakdown, right? So tier 1 med beds can hold 600 SUs of med gels. Tier 2 is 400 SUs of med gels, and tier 3 is 200 SUs of med gel. That's micro SUs. But now that I'm saying all of this, it says that it can hold that much. It doesn't say that it costs. Oh, here's the healing cost. Well, all right, so we'll get to that here in a second. All right, so tier 1 med beds can hold 600, tier 2 can hold 400, tier 3 can hold 200, and then each one of the tiers is a distance, right? So tier 1, it can regenerate those with an imprint who have died within 750 billion meters, right? And then there's tier 2 is within 8 million meters, and tier 3 is anybody within 50,000 meters. So it's also your regen point, right? So you also have to be mindful of where you can regen. All right, so the cost, the healing cost. So tier 1, remember tier 1 can hold 600 SUs, but it's going to only cost you 20 SUs. And this is backwards. No, it's not. All right, I saw the word minor. I saw the word minor for tier 1. I was like, no, it's not. It's severe. We're tracking, guys. We're tracking. So tier 1 cost is 20 SCUs. The bed can hold 600. So that's a pretty decent exchange rate. The tier 2 will only cost 10 micro SCU med gels. That's minor to moderate injuries. And then tier 3 is only 5 micro SCUs of med gel for minor injuries. So there you go. Regeneration is going to cost a lot more though, right? Regeneration is 100 micro SCUs per bed. So for your tier 1, it's 100, tier 2 is 100, tier 3 is 100, but the distance matters, right? The regeneration range. Clear as mud. I'm sure I just butchered that entire explanation, but those are your changes. So distance matters. The cost of med gel is going to matter moving forward. Here's your ships of the trade, the Triage, Medevac, Red, C8R, Ursa. So we already covered all those. Clinics and hospitals, I didn't notice any difference other than now they're selling med gels, but yeah. And that's it, guys. That is it. So that's a design brief. And then staying with the 431 release information, here is the spectrum. Again, I will always point new or maybe returning players to the spectrum announcement of the patch. And the reason I do that is because it consolidates everything you need to know, right? So all these links, the trailers, the medical gameplay, everything that we have been covering is right here, and they bucketize it here for your consumption. It makes it super easy. So if again, you're new and you're like, I don't know where to even start, or if you are a returning player who has spent some time away from the game, come here and get caught up on all the things, right? Okay. So, and I think I already covered this. These are the patch notes. Don't really need to go into it, guys. We've been covering the patch notes. We saw the release video. There's really nothing outside of what we've already covered. But just know that there are patch notes if you wanted to go in and read this. And if you haven't been hiding under a rock, you kind of already know all of this is here and coming. So, all right, let's get into the Apollo medevac and triage. We're going to watch this 5-minute video together and then react to some of the, higher information. We're going to end with the roadmap roundup and your Spotify comments and questions. Here we go. Let's get into the video.
The Apollo is a medium to large ship. It follows the more traditional RSI styling rather than the more modern sort of triangular shape styling we've seen on other RSI ships.
It's flat, it's sleek, it's cutting edge.
Not looking too industrial or like military.
It's like an ambulance and a Lamborghini had a child. Yeah, man, it's a thing of beauty.
Medical ships in the game provide a variety of functions, ranging from initial treatment of injuries to fixing drug overdoses, as well as ultimately providing respawnability.
It was definitely a bit of a challenge because when I first looked at the ship, it looked like it was mostly flat shapes, but there's a lot of panels that fold in on top of themselves.
And compared to the original concept, it has changed in some ways, mostly dimensionally.
We tried to keep as much of the silhouette as we could, but when it came down to it, it just had to get a little bit wider and a little bit taller.
And yes, the Apollo has the wee lights, so it's nice and visible in space.
Within the Apollo family, there are 2 variants. The Triage is the base model, and then there is the Medevac, which improves upon the Triage by doubling the missile count and providing heavier armor.
We got a lot of cool paints. I think my favorite one is the Vitality one that we were able to bring back from the Terrapin. I think overall the ship lends itself well to all kinds of nice paint jobs. It's just got a nice sleek look to it.
Obviously, medical gameplay tends to follow some combat gameplay or active combat gameplay. And as such, we've improved the offensive and defensive capabilities of the Apollo compared to its original concept standing. The pilot now has a pair of size 4 weapons to control, and their turret now has size 3 weapons on it as well for either the co-pilot to use if there is one, or the pilot has slave control over them by default. When you enter the ship at the rear, you enter into this very fancy airlock ramp area that is wide enough for you to be able to push gurneys up and through and out again. You enter into what we call the triage area.
You're gonna have a central hallway that has a really nice skylight view to the exterior, and on each side you're gonna have windowed walls which are giving you direct view to the med bays.
So this is a immediate place for, once you're on board the ship, to decide which of the 2 modular medical rooms you are going to put the patient into, or put yourself into.
When you're in the medical bay, you're supposed to sort of have this feeling of sterile, bright colors, which we've also contrasted with the rest of the ship.
If it is not a medical emergency, you have 2 engineering cargo rooms immediately to your left and right for storing supplies and accessing components.
If you keep going in the center, you're gonna go through a small engineering room.
And then you move forwards into the final room of the ship, which is the bridge and the habitation, as well as the central crew elevator that provides a second entrance into the ship.
The beds are in the bridge because we wanted to leave as much space in the rest of the ship for mostly like the patients.
We've mentioned the Apollo is a modular medical ship, and included with every Apollo is 6 medical modules. And whilst There is 6. They are essentially left and right variants of the 3 medical tiers of beds that we have. You have aptly 3 tier 3 beds capable of fixing tier 3 injuries. Tier 3 beds, regeneration-wise, are designed for mission-specific regeneration ranges, such as Align and Mine, Jump Town, or other POIs like that. Tier 2 beds expand that range to encompass a distance that covers pretty much the majority of our planets in the universe. Tier 2 helps you recover from more serious injuries, and there is a pair on board in the Tier 2 medical module. And then we have the Tier 1 medical bed, capable of healing and restoring the most serious injuries in the game. And this is the primary ship in the universe at this point that has the regeneration range encompass the whole star system that you're in. And if you're not sure what tier responds to what injury, you can read more about that on the medical guide on our website. The Apollo and other medical ships are primarily designed for those players who want to support and help others in their journey throughout the game. But they are also useful for you as a solo player. If you just want to do things by yourself, you have that sort of home base that you can use in missions.
I'm super happy with the way it came out.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how the ship turned out. It's been very nice to go back to that classic RSI styling that a lot of long-time players will have grown up with the Aurora constellation. And it's just nice to see that in a newer visual style.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions. What do you think? I love it. I think John Crew nailed it when he said that it's a home base operations for solo players. Yes, there's going to be org play. Yes, there's going to be small team tactics, but I will probably be flying my medevac from here on out as a solo player. It even has cargo, like the ability to carry 32 SCUs of cargo. Just know that you can't get anything larger than a 2 SCU box through the doors. So it's a combination of 1 SCU and 2 SCU boxes up to 32 total. It's a phenomenal ship, right? Now, can it handle itself in a very high risk, target bounty? I don't know, probably not. But for everything else that I do, right, I go to mercenary missions, I run bunkers, I do the Onyx facilities, Hathor, Stormbreaker. Like, this is going to be a very good asset to have. I don't know if it's worth $290 for the medevac, but I got it anyways. So right, wrong, or indifferent. So let's go deeper into the Apollo. If you're looking at the screen here, that's just the imagery, right? We've already covered most of it, the details of medical beds, how you want to. Again, I've got one. So my left side is a tier 1. It's 1 bed of tier 1 capability, so I can respond from anywhere within a star system. And then I've got the right side, which is a bunch of tier 3. Because usually when I go in and out of combat, I usually walk away with like tier 3 injuries. Like, rarely do I have a tier 2 or a tier 1 unless things got really bad. So I've got 3 beds of tier 3. That's my personal gig that I'm running with. I don't know. What are you rolling with? Super interesting. I just love the modularity. I love that it changes. Like, my interior is going to look different from your interior potentially. So I think that's very cool. Here are the paint jobs for, well, I got a little ahead of myself again. Here we go. Here are the paint jobs for the Apollos. There's quite a lot, actually. There is the standard triage, the standard medevac. So it's just the triage is red, the medevac is white. And then there's, they share the Delphi, which is the black and gold. I really like this color combination. The Lifeline, which is almost like the disco paint for the Meteor. It's the white, reds, and the greens. Shockwave is kind of more of a gunmetal gray, light gray, and yellow. I wouldn't really call that a gold. It's more like a yellow. So it's a little bit different from the Delphi, which is straight up gold. That we just did Shockwave. And then if you're Concierge, here's your Olympian. So I obviously got the one that was Olympian. This is my color scheme. I think it looks phenomenal. It's that gunmetal gray, metallic gunmetal gray with like a dull blue for highlights. I think they did really well on this color scheme. So this is what I rock, and I rock it for the medevac. Here are the different packages, right, for the triage and the medevac. You can see it on your screen. it's two. Let me just do this. This is a lot easier if I just do ships. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Ships, and if I do Apollo, that's going to give me every ship package. All right, so here we go. Here are your Apollo ships by price. The Apollo medevac standalone, $290. The Apollo Triage standalone, $260, and then you'll see your combinations. So the War Bond Apollo medevac, that's not concierge, $275. You get the armor set and just the base paint, obviously. But if you're a concierge, you can get the medevac plus the armor set with the Olympian paint for $275, right? Same kind of thing for the Apollo Triage, right? War Bond, not concierge, $250. It's the red. And then War Bond Triage with the Olympian paint and the armor, $250. So here is your breakout of the available packages. All right, more paints, more medical kits, guys. This medical kit is like where it's at. You get the Morozov, this heavy. You get this Morozov, but you might want to go in. In fact, I'm going to add these to the cart. You might want to go in and also get the other kits as well. So it's $18. Well, $8 for light, $10 for medium. Together is $18, obviously. And then the heavy is $12. So as you just saw, I added those to my cart. I'll be buying those because you never know when you might want lighter, medium, or heavy. All right, cool. Here's your Q&A, guys. I normally don't go through the Q&A. It's important to some, it's not important to others. There is a Q&A. So if you're interested in knowing more about the Apollo, this does talk about like armor. It does talk about weapons systems. Does it have emergency lights? It's like we already saw the video. We already know a lot of the answers to this. So did you get one? Did you get an Apollo medevac or triage? And if so, let me know in the comment section what you think so far. I would love to hear what the community is saying about the Apollo. And as we wrap up this podcast, let's get into the roadmap update of what we can expect next, right? So I'm kind of moving beyond the 4.3, which I guess there was nothing for 4.3.2. So this is also kind of a pointless announcement because 4.3.1 is released. But in the roadmap update, there's medical gameplay improvements, the Apollo Triage, medevac, the Onyx facilities, obviously. Also coming out the patch, NPC drop ships are in Pyro now. Heavy utility armor, adding a new heavy utility armor, right? Volt LMG, the bearing laser cannon art refactors, and the mission pickup on location, right? So when you get closer to an objective, that is when a mission will hit your Moby Glass. Good Lord. I was like, what is this called? The Moby Glass. Okay, let's wrap things up with your comments and answers to the poll. So in episode 120, again, 2 weeks ago, I asked, would you take advantage of the Second Life initiative if it happened in real life? So if you were able to live forever, basically, would you? And 69.2% said you would take advantage of it and live forever. You would take your chances with Second Life initiative. And then 30.8% of you said, no, when you die, death is final. I'm not dealing with that, the regen crap. So just an interesting, fun poll. I really wanted to ask about that. Comment section. Here we go. Quickly, because there's 10 of them. I love it. All right. Whoa, there we go. All right, Gabriel. Sorry. Do you feel that scanning is more important than crafting in StarCitizen? Which do you feel should be focused on and implemented first? Personally, I feel crafting is more important and it would make the game more engaging to the average gamer. Personally, I think SC has all it needs to be successful right now. All it would need to bring people in is a minor story or guide to push you to visit and explore new locations, but I feel like they intentionally keep StarCitizen in chains so it doesn't take from Squadron 42. Yeah, it'd be like releasing Grand Theft Auto Online before Grand Theft Auto. So I think that's completely fair, right? I think I don't know, there's a school of thought that says we're actually closer to 1.0 than most think, because the game theoretically could launch today. If you get past all the bugs, it could launch today and be somewhat successful online game, right? But I think you're right. I think they have to wait until Squadron 42. And so I can see it releasing after the launch of Squadron 42, maybe a year after Squadron 42. It'd be weird to have like its online version in alpha still. Like, again, it'd be like Grand Theft Auto releasing and having like an alpha online experience. It's just weird. So I actually agree with you there, that it's being based or delayed on Squadron 42. I don't understand your question, and I'm sorry. Maybe it's just the space I'm in right now. But do you feel that scanning is more important than crafting? I don't know what that means. I will respond and say, like, crafting should be the most important. Like, you should play the game to level up your crafting skills. And then once you craft, like, that crafting should, like, the time and attention it takes to craft in games should have its rewards. Other than a quick, like, if you're part of a progression org and you guys are just killing content, you can get the best item in the game in like 30 minutes. Like, that doesn't feel right. But it's going to take a long time to craft things and find the materials and blueprints to craft. So I think the better rewards, the better items should go to crafting. 100%. All right, so Billy the Beast writes, you can hang posters on the wall. Yeah, I know. I learned you can hang posters on the wall, but there's only 4 spots that I found between the inventory and ship terminals at Area 18, and I think New Babbage. I'm not sure about the other locations, though. Look for the 4 bolts on the walls. Love that they are planning for the medical gel, but I think they should cut the price down to 10 to 25K max. I'm very excited for new inventory. I'm hoping that they add a stack button. Yep. And or a stack all button and an option to drop all stack. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I end up having like 100 med pins that just completely complicate my inventory. So I agree with you there. And yes, in your personal hangars, there's these little knobs that are by the ASOP terminals. So just kind of walk that area in the ASOP terminal area of your personal hangar. And like, there's in the extra large hangars, there's 2. If you're looking at the ASOP terminals, there's 2 on the left of the ASOP terminal, and there's 2 on the right of the furthest right ASOP terminal. And then you also have 1 more, like right before you get to the hangar, and on the left side and on the right side. So you have like 6. You have 6 of the extra large hangar. Gridell writes, I always welcome new resources, and I think the addition of MedGel makes sense for immersion. Keeping people from spawning an infinite number of times promotes making citizens think twice before hitting backspace and creates a need for rescue service in the verse. Can't wait for crafting and base building and all the resource gathering it will spawn. See you in the verse. Likewise, Saffron Virtue writes, if the Second Life initiative were a thing in real life, I would absolutely use it. However, I also think it would change just about everything in human existence, and most of those changes would be pretty negative at first. Wholeheartedly agree. Even looking at the most obvious things, like how would such a technology change warfare? If soldiers could be brought back from death, would we fight more or less? How would it change our philosophies of religion? I'm glad CIG is exploring these questions. Very, very deep there. And I agree with you. Shadow Ranger writes, I know some people aren't happy that medical gameplay is getting attention when so many other things in the game aren't working, but I am excited for it. Medical gameplay will be my main focus when the game releases, so I am happy to see it getting some attention, and I'm looking forward to flying my Apollo. I hope NPC medical missions come soon, as well as more death penalties so people stop defaulting to backspace and wait to revive, or for a revive. Definitely agree. It looks like they also responded. Yep. However, I think medical ships will become HVTs for pirates since the price per charge on the medical beds will be 100K. Yeah, pirates are going to go after that wholeheartedly. All right, Bravo 1 writes, shoo. What a time to be a citizen in the verse. If a ship is bricked, you'll have 2 options for the current state of the game. Get a secondary hauler out there and start tossing boxes. Or if the ship is within size, get out that beautiful old SRV and start pulling. None of the less, bricking a ship isn't a huge concern. Would give the tow ship something to do, and or they could implement a tow ship that could quantum tow bigger ships than what the SRV can currently quantum tow at the moment. Agreed. I do wish the SRV had more of a purpose. I can agree with you there. All right, DZ writes, I think the new addition to medical gameplay improved the immersion. Before now, there would have been no point in being a medic beyond an FPS mission. But with the new med gel requirement for medbeds, a tired system for medbeds, and what they can do in rescue beacons with auto payouts, I think it's now something that people can get stuck into. I hope they don't downgrade the bed in my Nursa, as that in the back of my Asgard is the MVP. Love the podcast as always. Thank you so much. I appreciate your engagement. G Praz writes, hello from Australia here. Shout out. I love anything to do with medical and supporting a group. I like to be part of the support personnel or the quick reaction team. Absolutely. Only problem I have is the cost, and no, I don't think it's too much. Seems reasonable to me for what it is. Plus once we can craft Metagel. But the cost for the amount of times you die to bugs at this point in the game is too much. It's a very good point. It's a very good point. P.S. I also hate item recovery 1.0. Would rather lose everything and have to go back to get it. All right. Dreamer of Days writes, not only do I like the implementation of the medical resource, I appreciate the steep price tag on it. On-site spawning should definitely be very taxing from a logistics standpoint to make dedicated medics necessary. We're still a far cry from medical gameplay, but this feels like a step in the right direction. Things like this make attrition a viable way to PvP. And I'm not just saying that because I expect Soul Provision to win any logistics battle. And last, Soundwave Ghost writes, people want the future and also want the game to never change. Not all change is bad and not all is good. I want them to iterate, fail, and reiterate. This Medgel situation in PTU, and the PTU is perfect for that. This one bit isn't that hard. What they needed to change really was 50 to 20 and so on, and they did it. And they did it by dialing in. Perfect for something so overall tiny to implement. Great words, guys. Thank y'all so much for the engagement, truly. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the comments. All good points. Nothing I really disagreed with. It is interesting to see what the future brings. And we're like 4 weeks away from CitizenCon Direct, which I'm sure we'll get into deeper levels of what we can expect from this game. So I, for one, am excited. The Apollo Triage giveaway. You're going to need to know this code. You're going to need to know 12543. 12543. Last time, 12543. That needs to be in the comment section or in that field whenever you submit. Everything else is going to be filtered out. All right. Guys, if you want to become part of the conversation, you could do so by responding to the Spotify comment section and the poll. You can email us at contact@beyondtheversehq.com. You can learn everything there is to learn about our podcast, our in-game organization called Soul Provision at beyondtheversehq.com or soulprovision.com. We still have our philanthropy up and running for Extra Life, where money is going to children's hospitals. So if you want to give, you can do so on those websites, beyondtheversehq.com/give. That'll be a direct pass through to Extra Life where they get all the money. We don't see any of it. That is still going on. Guys, I cannot wait to meet some of you next month for CitizenCon Direct. Cannot wait for it. If you see me, come up to me, introduce yourself. I would gladly say hi, take a picture, whatever you want. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope this finds everybody well. Safe travels as you traverse beyond the verse. Take care.